What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Viper, and I'm alongside with Connor.
Yo, yo, how's it going?
Um, Welcome to the channel, and welcome to our first episode of Master Duel Academy. Um, Basically, this is going to be the same as our Duel Links Academy videos, where we make a deck, um, we do some duels, and then we break down the deck, show the replays. Um, yeah, so basically, it's all just same as Duel Links, but obviously it's in Master Duel. Um, yeah, it took me a while to obviously get the hang of Master Duel after playing Duel Links for so long, but I've wrapped my head around it, and here we are. Um, so the deck that we're going to be breaking down today is going to be the Weather Painters. Um, so basically, how this all came about was Connor here sent me some money for my birthday, which was yesterday, and he asked me, "What deck did you want?" And here we are with Weather Painters. Um, Something completely different. Never got the opportunity to use them in Duel Links. Uh, Um,
And they're in full power here, so why not?
we did make another build for around DK's build, but we're obviously missing a few cards. But nonetheless, um,
This deck, this deck works perfectly fine as is.
yeah, we we beat Sprite. we beat a few other we beat a few decks with this. It's actually pretty good. Now, basically, as you can see, um, core of this deck is basically just the. I'll just take out the cards to just to show you what you
Just
really.
really the weather painted deck themselves is the main.
So this is basically your snow, your cloud, sun, your thunder, aurora. Basically 20 cards, and they're all super rares, and normals and rares. The only part of your ultra rares is just your link monsters, which is only
But
six.
or two, if you don't want to play Pot of Prosperity, if you want to play like budget,
um,
like one of one or two of two.
yeah, you could just run. I think you could get away with it, but obviously if something happens, um, we we just run three of each.
Also, Moonboo, when is destroyed, you can special summon Rainbow. So that's a nice addition for that. Pot of Extravagance and Pot of Prosperity helps aiding in going through your deck for searching. You don't want 3 Extravagance because you're going to banish your whole extra deck that way, and you're never going to be able to go into your link plays.
And now it took me a while to understand how this deck works. But from my understanding, and I'm still learning how to play weather patterns because I've obviously never um, played them before. But basically, Snow's your searcher, Cloud. Um, so basically, Cloud you use for if you link summon. So obviously, you can actually use your trap cards, your spell and trap to
Link,
link
but you
summon.
need the field spell in order to do that.
The field spell, the weather forecast. So basically, when you activate it, you can place a spell or trap on the field. If you normal summon a weather painter monster, you can then activate to additional summon. Yeah, well, you can normal summon another um, weather painter, and then yeah, basically if you link, um, never use cloud, because when you use your spell or trap cards, like your weather painter spell or trap cards, cloud brings them back. Um, it's a good way. Um, I never really use sun, but it's basically the sun's basically you can send one face up continuous spell trap you control to the graveyard to special summon in defense position. And if you do, place one weather spell trap from your hand face up in your spell trap zone. And obviously you can use it once per turn. Um, but I've never really had to use this. Um, Thunder, you can send, it's basically the same as Sun, um, but yeah, so it's basically the same, but we you'll see in us in one of the doors we actually use Thunder to send
Dual drain.
skill drain to the graveyard, and then basically just the opponent couldn't really do much after that because he thinned out his hand. Aurora, um, same thing. You can place one weather spell trap from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up. So whether it's in your hand, in your deck, or your graveyard, you can bring it to the field. Um, and its other effect is your opponent cannot target the weather spell trap you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, which is pretty nice. It's just another way to, obviously, with attack. Um, it's also just to protect your trap spell and trap cards. Um, we all know what Dimension Shifter. Unfortunately, um, this can be a dead draw if you've reused the first one. If you obviously draw it in on your first turn or your turn two, providing that you haven't got any cards in your graveyard. Terraforming is just another way to search for your field
Field
spell,
spell.
which this is just one way of searching for it. We all know what part of extravagance does. You banish 3 to 6 cards, then you can add one card, draw one card for
For
every
every three banished. Usually you're gonna banish 6, draw 2.
uh,
Also a nice way to bait out an Ash. Same with
uh
Pot of Prosperity.
yeah, it's banished, but you get to choose. So extravagance is random. So it's basically, well, we've see how we've got these cards because if we use extravagance, we're obviously going to hope that it doesn't chew through all our cards, all the ones that we actually do need. Um, but
It's never
prosperity,
happened though.
yeah, prosperity, you can choose, and obviously these ones here we don't really use Zeus. Um, we only use the link monsters minus Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus. It's just the Weather Painter link cards that you would actually ever use, or you could.
You can go into Zeus with Nightmare Shark, detach, attack directly, main phase 2, Downed Magician, overlay into Zeus. But
Um,
if you don't want to do that, you don't need to do that. It's just another play to do.
the Weather Forecast field spell, basically, as we said before, when you activate, you can place a spell trap card into your spell trap zone, and obviously, when you normal summon a Weather Painter monster, you can then normal summon again, and then it also allows you to in link using spells and traps, your spell and trap Weather Painter cards, which is actually pretty nice. We all know what Dimensional Fissure does. Every card is banished instead of going to the graveyard. Um,
Probably could cut that down to 2, probably.
this is obviously a good card to go against Runic with. Um, Unfortunately, we haven't come across Runic yet, but I'm sure at some point we probably will.
Yep.
So you seen it? The snowy canvas is your searcher. So basically, if you've got your snowy canvas, that so basically they have to be adjacent. So if this is in the middle, you'd put say your snow on the left side in the left
All
uh,
right.
or the right. It has to be adjacent from each other, which we'll show you more of that in the replays, so you all get a good understanding on how it works. Your only canvas is basically you can banish this card, then target a one spell or trap your opponent controls and return it to the hand. And then obviously you could use cloud. I'm pretty sure you can use cloud to bring it back. So it's a good way to recycle.
All
Um,
the spells and traps you activate, you banish the monsters as cost.
but they come back in.
The
Oh,
next standby phase.
and also this card here is it's not a once per turn, so you can, as long as you got a weather painter monster adjacent to the rainy canvas, you can do it again, which is pretty nice. We've never done it.
We've only done it once because that's really all that it needs.
The weather cloudy canvas, basically you banish this card. So you banish the monster that's adjacent to this card. You banish it, and then you can halve the attack of your opponent's monster, which
It's a
is
big. It's a nice um something. If you come across big monsters, you can use that.
we all know what impermanence. I don't feel like we need to go through this. We all know what impermanence does. Solemn warning. Monster spell or trap. Monster effect or spell or trap is activated or an effect that special summons. Pay 2,000 life points to negate the summon or activation, and it also destroys it, which is just a good stall until you draw what you can, or if you do happen to draw this card and you can't really do much, it's a good way to stall it out. Draco Utopian Aura. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can negate the activation if you do destroy that card. Then you have to banish one monster from your hand, and if you do, you can special summon that monster that was destroyed, but its effects are
Don't need
negated.
that effect though.
But their effects, the Weather Painter monster's effects are based on the spell cards and the trap. Um, Rivalry of Warlords. Each player can only control one type of monster. So it
We
is a bit of a toxic deck.
only.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
we're
else?
running pockets.
um, Now we're not saying that you have to play these cards. It does help. Obviously, these cards are pretty much useless with Runic. Runic don't really special summon. They don't really have any monsters, but well, they do. But it it could help. But skill drain, obviously, we all know it negates every monsters that are face up in the field. So you could use skill drain, and your weather painter monsters are unaffected by it. The only thing skill drain stops is your link monsters. So you you
You
just
get
gotta be
rid of
careful.
if you need to get rid of skill drain, you've got sun and
Thunder.
thunder. So make sure you have everything that you need before you get rid of skill drain. It's just another safety play.
Macrocosmos, another toxic card. Uh, um, it's basically the same as Dimensional Fissure. While this
Yeah.
card's face up on the field, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. Um, we only just use it just in case, like if they take out Dimensional Fissure, we have at least another backup.
You don't need to run it. It's just a something.
The weather thundery canvas. Basically, at the damage step, you can banish the monster that's adjacent to this trap card. Banish it to return a monster to the extra deck, back to the
Non-targeting,
hand.
by the way.
So it's a good way to stop big plays. The weathery rainbow canvas. Basically, banish a monster. You can special summon a weather painter, the weather monster with a different name from your deck. So that's pretty nice to get your. It's probably like the best way to get your aurora or your cloud snow if you have already used snowy canvas to search. I'm not gonna go through these cards because we don't use these cards at all. They're only these link monsters, so you need three weather monsters. But
Or you can mix
use
them with the
but
spells and traps,
with providing you have the field spell on the field. So quick effect, you can send a card linked. You can send the link summon card to the graveyard, negate the summon, and if you do destroy that monster. Um, so basically, if if you've got three weather painter monsters co-linked to this card, you can actually send one of those monsters to be banished and negate spell trap, which you actually see in a video, which was quite funny. Um, don't recommend link summoning all three of your monsters. It's preferred that I would say, unless you're in a sticky situation, but I'd say yeah, use your spells and traps and keep Cloud on the field so you can bring those two spell trap cards back.
yeah, that would probably be the best thing to do.
And
Moonbow,
Moonbear, Moonbows, basically, on Link Summon, you can actually special summon one of your banished Weather Painter monsters back on the field. Um,
which is nice if I mention Fissure or one of them makes them banished.
Basically, its effect is similar. It's the same as Rainbow, except for um, this doesn't negate. You can just banish this card and target one monster your opponent controls and banish it until the next standby phase of the next turn. Um, we hardly ever go into this. Well, I think we always go into Rainbow because
It,
obviously we can negate activations, and it's not a once per turn.
no,
Um,
it's not once per turn.
once you've banned, like if you use all three negates, then you obviously can't do it again to the next turn. Um, but yeah, it's a real toxic deck. Probably not as toxic as Runic, but Weather Painters could say do counter um, Runic in some ways. Um, just unfortunately, we haven't got the cards that DK uses in his build, but nonetheless, this build's still pretty good.
We
And
could get rid of Dimension Shifter and put Chaos Hunter in.
so we'll go to our replays, and I think you're gonna go to Duel. How do you get into replays again?
Character. Click on, yeah,
Alright,
replay.
so basically,
Top one. 13 turns, but it'll go quick. There's a lot of skipping. It is preferably a turn one deck. Draw two skill drains here. Thunder didn't really help us in any way. Here he tried to activate his bright blue, but skill drain says no. We took the damage, he ends his turn. draw into Cloud. Then skill drain, but unfortunately he imperms. But we've got another one in our hand. Set that, back into blue, and turn.
I think this duel would have went different if we didn't draw the second skill drain.
Yep. But we probably wouldn't have sent that to the grave though. He tried to activate it again. He goes into his link to beat over our monsters.
And this happens for a few turns before we before we draw cards.
Forecast, just the card we needed. He max C's here, don't know why. At least we know.
Now, as you can see where I've placed the card, so when we say adjacent, so you got the spell card in the second spot, and then you just gotta put the monster adjacent either the left or the right, and then basically you click influence.
And see what
That's
cards influence the monster.
so yeah, basically, so now you can see that snowy canvas is adjacent to cloud, and now cloud can then activate, banish itself, and use the effect of the spell card to search. Um, at the start, I actually thought that was pretty hard to do, but it's actually pretty easy. And if someone like me could, figure it out, you should be just fine.
And
Unfortunately,
unfortunately,
he has.
he has blossoms. So we don't get our search off. But
We
Cloud
drew,
back.
and then he
But he
calls
tried
one up.
to like. Unfortunately, Max sees. Of course, he top stacks that.
So he gets one free draw.
Kidoki.
But he's so obviously he had to search for Thunder Canvas to send his monster back to the extra deck.
Which means we took the full damage, but never mind. We're able to do another free search.
And then now we've got the Snow adjacent to the trap card, and now the trap card's going to activate, and then we can banish Snow to send it.
Nice. Here he goes to attack. He thinks he's won. Banish. Nope.
And if I do have to say anything, it is so great going up against people who don't read cards. This bloke, yeah, for whatever reason, just yeah, did not read cards, and it was just you got to read the cards, and that's the biggest advice I could probably give you.
Read your damn cards. Read your opponent's cards. He Ghost Ogre's here, which destroys an activated monster's effect.
So now,
But
in this case, if you activate and banish, then obviously the that ghost ogre,
is fizzled out and it doesn't do anything.
and
And the effect still goes through.
then effect veiler didn't even, nothing happened.
He Effect Veiler is one of the other cards, but again, we banish. It doesn't, Effect Veiler doesn't do anything. So, there he targets Cloud, I believe. We banish that. Effect Veiler doesn't do anything. We get Rainbow here. Thunder.
I'll give this guy credit. He stayed the whole game, but no, did he stay? Yeah, he stayed the
Yeah,
whole
he's
game. But yeah, like, dude, if you ever watch this video, read the cards.
We're just getting the cards we need to end the duel here. It's a slow, grindy deck. You're not going to kill your opponent right away. It's just grindy. Here we link off to the spells. We got Cloud on the field, and we're able to set both spells back. He
And
effect Veilers.
but we
He
negate
targets
it.
our Link. We activate Cloud to activate Rainbow to negate. There are the spells. And we attack for 46. And turn. Stand by. Cloud comes back.
And in this moment in time, he actually tries to Regeki us. He tries to use Regeki.
Nope. Cloud activate. Uses Rainbow's effect. Negate.
So basically, yeah. So basically, why these three arrows are pointing here, left, middle, and right. And if you've got three monsters, that's three negates. As long as these three monsters are co-linked with the link, with Rainbow,
That's how
um,
many negates you've got.
you've got three negates. And like as you've seen, it's well, it's not a once per turn thing, but and they're always your monsters are always coming back, and you just negate again. Um,
This turn here, and we've got game on board.
and
And that's game.
I give the guy props for staying. Um, but that's just the floodgates, like your skill drain does come in handy.
You're able to out your own skill drain if you need to with Sun and Thunder, just in case. But leave it on the field as long as you can, like we showed at the start of this duel.
And yeah, so this guy was a sprite user,
Right, yeah.
and then yeah, unfortunately he couldn't do
He
nothing.
couldn't do anything. Got one more duel here.
I think we go first.
First, I believe. Yep. Draw all monsters this time. But we've got Cloud to search. Banish to search for the field spell. We're able to put Rainbow. Additional summon. And just like that, we've got a full board, pretty much. Summon Warning. Surprisingly, this guy didn't have a follow-up. Banish to search.
Oh, Solomon Great. Yeah, this dude. I don't know if he bricked or if he just couldn't do nothing, but I don't think he did. He didn't really do much.
I don't think so. See, we sent a card to the grave to search, I believe, and Cloud was able to bring it back. So make sure you keep Cloud on the field as long as you can.
So in this case, Cloud is influenced by Snowy Canvas. Thunder is basically
Influenced by everything.
all three cards minus obviously the rainy canvas. But yeah, so thundery canvas, rainbow canvas, and snowy canvas are all influenced by thunder. Snow's influenced by rainbow, thunder, thundery, and rainy canvas, and clouds just thundery and rainy. So it's basically once you can get your cards like this, and with your traps and spells, it does get a lot easier to understand.
Yep.
We did play against a guy using ice barriers, but yeah, he scooped. He summoned in Trishula and gets negated.
with Solemn Warning. He wasn't able to do much of anything else after that. Did you want to show that too?
Oh, yeah, that's how we get shot. Yeah, basically
Yeah.
this was actually our first game where we actually went into a full board. It was actually pretty nice. Basically, this game.
Of the attack on that. Nice.
Oh no, I don't think we saved that one, did we?
You don't know. Can you check deck?
Oh yeah, it's here. Confirm opponent's deck. Yeah, it's here.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, we did save it. We'll play the ice barrier. Um, I only lasted 4 turns before he scooped, but
Solemn Warning is a pretty good card. Don't shotgun the first negate that comes up. Whatever you're feeling threatened by, you negate that. With Ice Barrier, it's if you know that they go into Trishula pretty quick, then negate that. If they go into access code, or attempting to go into access code, Pogolon, then when access code hits the tries to hit the field, Solemn Warning then.
so he does end up going into Trishula, so we have to negate and destroy before you pop the card on the field uh, in my hand and then back row, whether it be spell or trap or good spell.
Is Trishula. Split Solemn Warning. Negate. He's not able to do much else.
And then we
To
just keep
search.
searching to get cards that we to set up our plays.
Rainy canvas on the field. Got all of our cards here. He tries to jelly cannon us, but we just banish Aurora to search, I think. To special summon. So we
So
just.
yeah, waste of the jelly cannon.
Yep. So you can play around targeting effects like that too, which is pretty sick. Here we've got a full board.
And watching VK's video, he does mention that if you get Harpy Feather dusted, this deck loses to that, or Lightning
However,
Storm.
since you've got Aurora, that stops that. And if you got the rainbow link, you can
Negate it.
negate it. So that's also something.
I'll show you how to get the where you find the cards. I think they're all in the same pack.
They're all in the same pack. Artistic Angel.
And the master pack, but um, yeah. So basically, even the links are in. It's currently
Everything's in
Why does it say currently locked?
It goes removed after 24 hours.
Oh. Um. But yeah, so basically all the weather painter cards are all in
The
the set.
only two cards that aren't in the um pack is the Field Spell and Moonbow. They're in the Master Pack, which means you're gonna have to craft them.
Yeah, so if, if you've got if you got your super rares and your ultras and your rares, normals, probably just say craft the deck. Um, but
It
yeah,
is pretty cheap.
yeah, it's only like you see a super rares, main decks super rares and normals and rares, like all three, four normals and a few rares. As we said, you could play one and one or two as two, and you'll be fine. All right, guys. We hope you guys enjoyed our first episode of Master Duel Academy. Um, guys, take care. Um, if you liked the series or if you've followed us from Duel Links, um, like and subscribe. Let us know your feedback and what deck you want to see next. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
Later, guys. Have a good day. Take care.